Back with the start of the actual tournament. For those of you who were joined us live earlier, as we watched both Jordan Pectyo and Yen-shyang build their decks and do some play testing. We appreciate you sticking with us, and now we pile into the start of this tournament. Of course, Gatecrash Prerelease, the Sunday event here at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. We've got 28 players today, down from the record high attendance 58 yesterday, but you would expect that on the Sunday event. It's always a little bit smaller. Let's look at our round one matchup. We do have 5 rounds today. We do not cut to a top 8 here. The way the prize structure is handled is that everyone who wins a match gets a pack for that win, so everyone can win up to 5 packs if they go undefeated. And then additional packs are awarded at the end of the tournament based on record. So even if you don't have the best of days, you can of course still win a pack or 2 if you win your match. Let's talk about the matchup that we have for you here. On the left is Megan Berger. She is playing Orzhov. She opened an Orzhov pool and is playing straight Orzhov, she says. On the right is Joseph Deal. He opened a Boros pool and, surprisingly enough, is playing Boros. I mention that because it is very possible in this format to open one guild and not have enough playables in that guild, despite having the guild-specific booster pack, in order to play that archetype. I know Jordan Pectyo at the Midnight Pre-Release opened a Simic pool and then played a Naya deck to a 3-1 finish, so sometimes that happens. And I do apologize for the glare, guys. I do not know, don't know what's up. We did the same kind of thing yesterday, and it was fine, but today, for whatever reason, it is giving us a little bit of grief. So, and again, as I've mentioned before, I will do my best to try and keep up with all of these cards, but it is a little bit difficult to do so. All the guys who said that they would come back here and help me with commentary have yet to do so. So I'm here by myself trying to handle all the behind-the-scenes stuff, as well as figure out what all these cards are. So we do see a Syndic with Ties on Megan's side. That is a 2/2 Extort card, and then Joseph suiting up his Angel and piling in for a total of 5. So already has Megan on a 3-turn clock, although with Extort. I think it might just be the sleeves that Megan has that are causing so much of the glare, because they are somewhat worn there. You can see they do have a considerable. Alright. So let's see if I can figure out what this white card is that Joseph is playing. I know what that card is. That's Madcap Skills. +3/+0 and has to be blocked by 2 creatures or more. And we see Blind Obedience from Megan. I can't believe I missed it, which is very strong. Everything that Joseph plays, artifacts and creature-wise, come into play tapped, and it has Extort. So you watch these Orzhov decks, kind of like the old Fairies decks from Standard. They just refuse to die. You can get them down to 1 or 2 life, but they can grow right back with their Extort triggers. Of course, looks like Megan's stuck on land, so this one might be a quick one, and in fact it is. So Joseph takes a pretty quick game 1 due to some unfortunate mana situations from Megan's deck. It looks like the card that Joseph played was in fact called Daring Sky Jack. Maybe it was, according to a card viewer. That card doesn't exist. Sky Jack. Don't know what a Sky Jack is, but apparently it's something. Let's take a look at what it is. In fact, it is a 2-drop creature that has a battalion trigger that it gains flying. It is a 3/1, so it is pretty brutal when not opposed by any kind of blocking creature. And we've already talked about there is not a ton of removal in this format. So Megan stepped away from the table briefly, these guys sideboard. This might be a relatively quick one, but assuming this is over quickly, we'll find another match to slide in its place. So again, thanks to everyone, I should say, who's joining us for this coverage. I apologize again that it is just me here in the broom closet doing commentary, and I apologize for not knowing all of the cards. Thought I was going to have some help, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So as everyone starts to finish up their matches, they'll come in here, and hopefully we can get some help in that regard. So. We'll remind everyone in the chat, as I do every time, but never fails that I have to remind someone that, remember, this is in fact a pre-release event at a local card store in West Virginia, and not the top 8 of a professional tournament. So if someone misses a trigger, or perhaps doesn't make the best play, as of course you always would, I don't really care to hear about it in the chat. These people are just trying to have fun, so I would encourage you to do the same. Calm down a little bit. So we move to Game 2, the Boros deck of Joseph Deal taking Game 1 against the Orzhov deck of Megan Berger. Megan stumbled on land a little bit, and Joseph basically was playing a Tron-style strategy, jamming enchantment after enchantment on a single Daring Skyjack that was good enough to go the distance. So there's a 1-drop out of Megan's deck, which is the Dutiful Thrall. It's a 1/1 that will regenerate for a black. It's the perfect kind of card in the Orzhov strategy in that it will clog up the ground and allow you to take advantage of extort triggers. These Orzhov decks don't necessarily need to attack. I mean, ideally they would, but sometimes they can just sit back on the defensive, such as the 1/4 Defender with extort, and just drain you with extort triggers. So that's a Syndic of Ties from Joseph, and of course the 2/2 bear with extort as well. It's a very strong card in both of these decks. So no play from Megan. She's going to sit back on defense and see how it goes from there. Joseph is going to serve in. Megan just going to take it. I guess doesn't want to risk the thrall in possible combat. And there we see the Boros hybrid card. I'm going to look this up. I forget what it's called. If I'm not mistaken, this is the card that basically mimics Wispmare, if you remember from Lorwyn block. But I will try and confirm that here quickly. Yep, it is called Boros Reckoner. It is in fact a Wispmare effect. Damage dealt to it it will also deal that damage redirected to a target creature or player. And you can play a Boros hybrid mana and give it first strike until end of turn. It is a 3/3 creature. That, of course, is a rare. Very strong. And we see, I keep forgetting what that card is called. Ghastly something, but in fact destroys target creature and then your opponent mills. One of the few instant speed hard removal spells in the format. And also the spell with the most offensive art to your mother. I'm guaranteeing that. It is very, it's not the kind of card you want your 14-year-old kid to bring home from the card store. Grisly Spectacle is what it's called. It does in fact destroy a target non-artifact creature, and then that creature's controller puts a number of cards equal to that creature's power into his graveyard. So, another mill enabler. We see another Boros gold card from Jordan. I believe that is the one that it has Battalion as well. We'll do a quick search on that one. And that is the Ordrune Veteran, a 4-drop, that when it has Battalion triggers, it gains double strike until end of turn, and it is a 3/1 base. So if Joseph can come up with Sky Knight Legionnaire or something, or the 1-drop Haste Goblin, that Veteran is going to swing 4/6. See a 4-drop out of Megan's deck. That is a magic card. That is Syndicate Enforcer. It is a 3/2 with Extort. So she sits back on the Dutiful Thrall and the Syndicate Enforcer, staring down a lot of business. And another 4-drop from Joseph. He's going to sit back with his cards and then attack next turn, being able to trigger his battalion effects. Looks like Knight of Obligation. It is in fact a 4-drop Vigilant 2/4 with Extort. We've talked about it numerous times before, but the Extort is supposed to be in the Orzhov guild thematically, but the hard white ones that you can splash in this Boros deck give your deck a lot of reach. Make your top deck aggro creatures late in the game not nearly as dead, as they can at least gut shot your opponent. So, I forget what that card is called, but it exiles a creature card from a graveyard, and you get a 1/1 Spirit, I believe. Might be interesting to see whether that ends up showing up in Standard as another graveyard-based effect, although I don't think it's as good as Purify the Grave or Deathrite Shaman. It is called Beacon Apparition Hybrid Orzhov. Exile target card from a graveyard, not just a creature. Put a 1/1 Orzhov Spirit token with flying into play. So Joseph now has access to Battalion, and he is going to trigger Battalion, giving his Veteran double strike, so it is now a 3/1 double striker. He's going to jump with the Spirit, and he's going to take 4 off of Battalion triggers. Or, not Battalion triggers, just damage. Just good old damage, no tricks involved. And he's going to play what I believe is the Sunhome Guildmage, but I am going to in fact confirm that. It can't be a Sunhome Guildmage. He wouldn't have. He would have played that pre-combat and pumped everything. Looks like it is a 5-drop hybrid card. Nope, 5-drop. What is that guy? Like a fun little sub-game I have play. That's a Fortress Cyclops. It is a 5-drop. Whenever it attacks, it gets +3/+0. Whenever it blocks, it gets +0/+3. It is a 3/3 base, so it attacks for 6, blocks for 6. So we see the 3/2 Extort creature enchanted with the enchantment that gives it +1/+1 flying and lifelink, I believe. I'm not sure what that card is called. So it's now a 4/3 flying lifelinker, which might not be enough at this point, staring down the full board from Joseph's deck. Again, Megan getting stuck on mana just slightly, and against the Boros deck, even the slightest of stumble is often enough to sway the game. It's called the Gift of Orzhova, the card, the enchant creature card that's on the Syndicate there. So Joseph, considering his options, he's got a 5-drop. Assemble the Legion. He's going to extort off of his Syndic of Ties. So incremental damage in there. Assemble the Legion, pretty rough. Maybe he didn't extort there, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much Assemble the Legion costs, actually. I thought it was a 5, but it may be a 6. So Assemble the Legion, it gets a muster counter every turn, and then you get a creature token for each muster counter. So it's going to pump out a lot of dudes very quickly. Yep. Puts a 1/1 red and white creature token, soldier token with haste onto the battlefield every turn. So next turn he's going to get 1, the following turn 2, so on and so forth. So trying to figure out blocks here. Megan is going to Megan's going to chump out the Minotaur. It's going to take 6 from the Cyclops, and is going to block the 2/4, I think. Hold on just a second. I think. Well, I'm not sure if they missed lifelink or not. Yeah, they just caught it. I was about ready to walk out there, but they just caught it. She doesn't gain 10 life because the gift of Orzhov gives the Syndicates lifelink. So she is down only down to 10 there. We see another Syndicate, 3/2 extort. Not necessarily what she wants in this situation. Facing down a Cyclops, the double striking Minotaur, and an active assemble the Legion. So there we see the 1/1 haste soldier token that's going to pound in. Joseph moves to attack. He's going to attack with the big boys and the expendable soldier token. It's going to trigger battalion, giving his veteran double strike. It's a great interaction between Assemble the Legion and the battalion creatures, giving you hasted creatures that you don't necessarily care about dying, so that you can suicide them in order to get the higher end battalion effects off of your bigger creatures. So I think they're deciding what's being blocked. Yep, and so Joseph, because Megan decided not to block the double striker, he's going to Blood Rush. I don't know what that card is called again, but it is a 5/1 that you Blood Rush for 3. Gives this creature +5/+1, so that makes an 8/3 double striking Minotaur, which is more than enough to take this game. So some mana woes from the Orzhov deck, overcome quickly by the aggressive start of the Boros deck, followed up by some bombs on the high end. The Cyclops and the Minotaur get up control pretty quickly, but Assemble the Legion, very, very good in this format. So, congratulations, Joseph Zeal. He moves to 1-0, wins himself a sweet pack for winning a match here at the Gatecrash Prerelease. If you guys will bear with me quickly, I'm going to step outside, see if I can find you another feature match to slide on into the feature match area, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Did you open your pack? I got an Amsterdam. My third Amsterdam. Nice. It is pretty nice. Yeah. I overtraded. What'd you trade? How much did you trade for?
I traded 4 hinterlands for the up to that.
Ooh.
They 40 and a dog front.
So a little bit more.
It's 40 for 40. Give it Star City prices, but
they're trash. Good luck to you.
yeah, you too.
You sound like you're playing Pokemon. No, Garrett. I choose you, Garrett.
Well, that's
Did you win? What? Did you win?
Yeah.
Of course you won. Your deck is retarded.
Is it?
Almost lost.
Joseph also has pretty strong Boros deck.
He's a symbol in the league.
So
I bet
good.
yesterday.
This card's so good.
That's pretty
Alright, well when you're done with your other business, feel free to come in. Alright, so we're still in round 1. This is game 2. Hey Garrett. Who won game 1? Who won? You did?
He did.
Do you mind if I move the tacos?
You can move the tacos. You can also have a taco. Feel free to.
Oh my god.
Some are Boros. Yeah, I got Boros tacos.
I like the semi-taco.
Some of them are Doritos and some are regular. So.
Alright, I just picked it.
Sure. All right, so we're still in round one here. I am joined now by Alec Myers. Alec, you won your round one.
Yeah.
What are you playing today?
I'm playing Orzhov again.
Okay.
I did so well last night. You want to look at the deck?
Not right now. I got a little bit going on here. We do have a Dimir mirror match here between Jordan Pectyo and Garrett Meadows. I don't know exactly what's in Garrett's deck. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. But Jordan's deck is all in on the meal plan. Jordan has 5 separate copies of Paranoid Delusions and a Mind Grind.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So one thing I will call upon you for, Alec, is to help me figure out some of these cards because it is very difficult.
I need to sit in the other chair.
Yeah, you can move however you want to. So Garrett's playing. He has 2 of the 2/3 flyers, right?
I think those aren't those the 2/2s that can only be blocked by rogues.
I don't know. I'll look it up. And there is the first copy of Paranoid Delusion that's going to mill 3.
Oh. Oh, it's a loco. No. I believe those are the rogues. The 2/2 can't be blocked except by rogues.
Do you know what this guy is?
What guy?
The guy that Garrett is playing.
Can't really see off of.
Yeah, I know it's imperfect solution. Here's the way I look at this today. This is better than nothing. It's a Death Cult rogue.
Death Cult.
It's a 2/2 can only be blocked by rogues. Meanwhile, Jordan has another rogue that can only be blocked by something, right? And that's the looter. And he has the blue guy that whenever he casts a spell, whenever another blue creature enters, you mill 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Garrett is already halfway through his deck. And he's going to attack with the other unblockable guy and mill 3 more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, Jordan does have access to a Mind Grind, so he can theoretically just finish the game off at any point.
That deck sounds very scary to play against.
Garrett's going to race him.
Especially for...
Well, it's very scary to play against if you are a mid-rangey or control-ish deck. If you are...
Boros.
Yeah, if you're very aggressive, then it's fine.
It's the kind of deck where you just mull down to 5 just to make sure you have enough of a early game.
Jordan playing this card, which is, I forget what it's called, but it's like something like Void Flicker or something like that. It basically blinks a creature until end of turn. And it has ciphers, so he's going to get in with his unblockable guy, bounce both of Garrett's creatures, and mill yet again. Oh, and that was it?
Nice.
Good grief. Jordan had pretty much the nuts there.
That's the card that puts a copy of target creature or artifact.
The token? Yeah, he wasn't playing that originally, and I told him I don't think that's right. I think he should be playing it. He was worried about copying his own creatures, at which point I reminded him that you can copy their creatures as well. Mm-hmm. So that was a very uneventful game.
Great commentating.
Huh?
Great commentating. I was stumbling around trying to figure out what the Death Cult rogue does.
Well, it's very difficult, and this is what I've talked about multiple times before. I'm sure the quality of this is not necessarily the best, but it does give people the chance to live vicariously through these people and open some packs and play some with some new cards. Mm-hmm. And it does. It's better than nothing. I mean, if you're just sitting at home, it's better than watching it. I figured it was better to do this than to not do anything. I don't know if there's going to be another match that we can steal or not. We can watch these guys trade if we want to do that. We won't do that.
Don't do it, Jordan.
I need to trade
a bad deal.
But let's see. I feel bad because I don't want to switch back to studio camera because then I'll just. Well, that's fine. You're enjoying. Apparently, you're Scotty, right?
What? Oh.
Scotty, you changed a lot.
Yeah. So I don't think there's not going to be a chance that we get another match because.
I
How's it look out there, Alec?
don't know. I think Logan was still playing. I can ask him.
Let's see, just see if there's anybody that could
It's not
possibly.
on like game 3.
Yeah. If there's any game 2s that could possibly slot over, we'll try our best to get you there. My name, of course, is Zach Evans. That was Alec Myers. This is Yen-shyang. He's enjoying some delicious Vietnamese Subway. And so, Yen, we saw you build, for those of you who watched this at the beginning, we saw Yen build your deck. Do you have your deck? Let me,
It's just not like that.
this is Alec's deck?
Yeah. It's just the same sleeves, that's why
So we saw Yen build his deck, which was a Boros pool. You've played in 3 pre-releases, and you've opened 3 Boros pools, correctly? And this, of course, is your weakest one because there's no double Fire Main Avenger and Aurelia in this one, right?
I think yesterday's might have been a little weaker, but I did have Assemble the Legion yesterday and 2 Madcap.
Like, there are some cards, like, I don't say this with any kind of, knowing full well that I'm not necessarily good at Limited, but, I mean, there's some things that are, I know these truths to be held self-evident, you know what I mean? There are some cards that you just can't beat in a limited format. Packrat, for example, in Return to Ravnica, and, like, Assemble the Legion is very tough to beat, too, you know, Obsidat, I think, is also really good in this format.
Yeah.
What was going on out there?
Everybody I asked either said they didn't want to play on camera, or, well, Logan asked me why, and I didn't know how to respond to why.
I don't know.
Why?
Okay, so let's take a look here quickly. We'll go through you guys' deck. So we'll look at Yen's deck. We did see you pile it together. So the first thing we'll point out is there are 4 copies of Bomber Core, which not the greatest card in and of itself, a 1/2 for 2. But when you have 4 of them and you're playing in the Boros deck, and you have that battalion trigger which lets you ping something, it's like very useful.
Yeah.
We saw you piling 2. You know, if you have 2 of them out, then you're obviously, you know, you can shock something. You just blow past the blocker. We can force damage home. Let's move right into
Fire Main Avenger.
Fire Main Avenger, which of course is the 3/3 flyer. Its battalion trigger is Lightning Helix, which is pretty good. This is like basically standard playable. So if it's going to be good in standard and it's a creature, it's probably going to be good. There are some spells in standard that are not limited playable, but the creatures almost always play. If they're playable in one, they're playable in another. So do you have a couple copies of Mugging or just the one?
Just the one.
Just one Mugging, which is a shock to a creature, and it can't block. And the can't block also very relevant because you can at least tap something down, or effectively tap it down, and force through most of the damage. I'm very pleased with this guy. This is one of the few guys I do know what it is when I look at the art. Syndic of Ties. Now there's a copy of Syndic. I think it's a cycle. Yeah, it's a bear, which I mean it's well caught. Sometimes you played Walking Corpse sometimes in Innistrad Seal just to have a bear on your curve. But the fact that you can like that extort in these Boros stacks just gives it so much reach. It's just such an effective strategy. And then you got 3 copies of this guy.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cards in Magic. I think there's nothing. I hate this art. This art looks garbage. But the old one. I used to play the old one in my cube until it just got outclassed by better cards. But like it's so on theme for Boros. Flying, haste, and just 2/2. It's well costed.
Triggers a lot of battalions.
It triggers.
Hello, Justin.
It triggers battalion when they're not expecting it too. I mean, haste is always relevant, but you do have one copy of this guy, which we were talking with Jordan about earlier. Foundry Street in this in 1/1 goblin 1-drop, and when another red creature comes into play, there's a cycle of when another creature comes into play of the same color, do something, and it basically gets +1, +0. This is like kind of an innocuous card that doesn't look that like amazing, but it will get in for 2 for basically the first 2 or 3 turns if they don't.
Yeah.
Like the Boros deck in this limited format, if your deck stumbles at all, like if you have like a mid game or late game plan that you can't get to, like you don't have a chance.
I've blown through like mid games.
Smite, of course, that's a reprint. That was from wasn't that from Zendikar block? I think it's from several actually. I think it was printed a long time ago. Destroy target blocked creature, which is pretty good. One of the few ways of beating Obsidat. We were talking earlier about how many cards actually interact with Obsidat because it has to be instant speed removal. It's that and Grizzly Spectacle. I think are pretty much.
I mean, Killing Layer, but yeah.
Yeah, and you also have Massive Raid. Massive Raid, very good in your deck. I played one yesterday in my Gruul deck. Not nearly as good because it basically was only a 2 or 3,
Yeah.
but in your deck, you know. Can often be a 4 or 5 damage spell. This guy, I'm really pleased with this guy, and I think it's funny because your deck is so aggressive, but this guy is fine because it has Extort. It's 1/4 Extort. Like, if it didn't have Extort, it'd be unplayable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very much
But that
unplayable.
Extort, I mean, it just gives you so much reach. damage.
Yeah.
You just basically, it could be an artifact for all intents and purposes, and you just play it and just extort off of it, and it would be still good to play. But the fact that you can, in the mirror, you can incrementally gain advantage by blocking and stuff like that. And this is maybe one of my favorite cards in the set so far for limited, is Madcap Skills, which we talked about before. +3/+0, and you have to block it. Goblin War Drums effect. But the fact that there's not very good removal is why this card is good. And oftentimes, even if you just play it on the turn and attack with it, if they're tapped out early, just getting in for the lightning bolt is still pretty good. If the worst case thing is that you get them for 3 damage in this format, that seems fine against all decks except Orzhov. Orzhov,
Well,
I was lamenting, I was crying like a baby that yesterday I did 25 damage to somebody and still lost the game. We saw you play this too, which is, a pretty good Anthem effect, Righteous Charge. In your deck, it's very good because you're piling in. It's sorcery, so you can't really trick them, but if you're attacking in with 2 Bomber Cores and a 1/1 guy, all of a sudden it gets very out of control.
With 2 Bomber Cores and not the Berserker, it's the 2/4 guy in the game earlier.
And we see 2 copies of Angelic Edict, which is exile target creature or enchantment. It's very expensive. It's 5 cost, but it is removal. It is one of the few ways you can interact with creature enchantments or things like blind obedience or something like that.
Or people who don't exile Obsidat.
Yes, if someone forgets to exile Obsidat, you can nug them. Skullcrack, not super relevant in this format in terms of the life game part, but it is still a Lava Spike, which is fine in your deck. Court Street Denizen, nothing too spectacular. You do have the Guild Mage. You have a Knight of Obligation, a 2/4 Extort and Vigilant. That guy seems very good. You have on-color Dual Land, which is always fun. Always good. Always good to open a card that's worth something as well.
Yeah.
And then you have Sunhome Guild Mage, which is pretty good. I think it's very relevant because it, the +1 is good when you're way ahead. The first ability is good when you're ahead. The second ability is good when you're behind. It's never dead. There are some of the
first ability you can always just use it if you don't have anything else to cast.
Yeah, it's a good mana sink. All of them are some of them. Guild Mage is not all created equal, but some of them are very good. And then you actually have 2 copies of Foundry Champion. One your promo card and one boring non-foil version, and they are pretty good. What is effective about this? I actually got beat by this card yesterday out of the Boros, the Orzhov Splashing Boros deck. Because when it comes into play, it deals damage to target creature player equal to the number of creatures you control.
Yeah.
Any 2-for-1 is always good. Tseng Kavu is basically a first pick in any cube draft, and that's things that have like Mox and Black Lotus in it. It's not better than Mox and Black Lotus, but still pretty good. So very fortunate. You open a Boros pool. You're playing Boros. Yesterday, Jordan came in and showed us his Simic pool that he opened at the midnight pre-release, and he was playing Naya. Because sometimes it just happens like that. We talked about that before. You can open. Brandon Hart mentioned this. You open a pool.
Pool in here.
Yeah, we're 4 topped off. Do you need more tacos? Do you want more tacos?
Oh, there's more left.
Yeah, there's plenty more left.
Like 30.
There's not 30. There's more like 6, but you can
let tacos go to waste.
You can just take them out there and pass them and ask them if they want them. Yeah. Tacos. We should get sponsored by Taco Bell.
What?
We should be sponsored by Taco Bell. They should give us a 12-pack every week. I spend enough money there. I figured I'm not proud of that, but no. The thing is you open the sealed pool. If you open the critical mass of cards that you need for your guild, it's great. We talked about this earlier. At least my opinion is it doesn't matter which guild you pick. It's just as long as your pool has enough of the cards in those thematics to be good. For example, Gruul yesterday I opened. I've been fine with that. I had no problem with the colors I picked. It wasn't like Gruul was bad. It was just that I didn't have a very good curve. I didn't have I had a lot of removal, but nothing to really finish the game out and things like that. I didn't have any early presence, so I was playing a couple 2-drops, a couple tons of 4-drops. It just didn't work out. Just as long as you have enough extort cards, enough blood rush cards, enough aggressive battalion guys, stuff like that, it all works out. But the problem is if you open a Simic pool and you have your guild pack, if your other packs are not very good in Simic, you have the following choices. I can force Simic and build a 6-pack pool, or I can abandon that and build my best 5-card pool. So either way, you're kind of hosed. So that's the advantage of the guild system is that you get to play with you guarantee you're going to get X cards from your set. You know what I mean? You have some idea. Someone
I
has
have my deck and my backpack.
someone has
so-
left both.
Zach has my deck currently.
I have your deck. We'll talk about it shortly. Anything going on in the chat? The question is: this in between rounds? Yes, this isn't in between rounds. We would be
Oh, no.
we would be a very bad broadcast if there was magic going on outside and we were just wandering. Now, we're at the tail end of round one, and then all of the games that are currently being wagered out there do either not want to play on camera or are in game 2 or 3, and we can't move them over. So we'll start with round 2 when we get back there. But what are your general thoughts on the format so far?
Hi, Skibby.
Hi, Skibby. So hello to Casey Skibby, and now back to the question. So what were you saying?
I'm so confused right now.
What do you think of the format in general? Like, is it like a good limited format? Do you think it'd be fun to draft?
I'm in love with it.
I think it's fine. I think there's also, some imbalance. I think Boros and Orzhov are just way above the rest.
Yeah, like, and
personally.
well, the problem is too is like it's tough to gauge based on Seal because Seal is always slower
Right.
Yeah.
than Draft, and I don't know. It's obviously going to favor the more aggressive strategies if you can put them together well. I do think in the Seal form, it's clearly Boros and Orzhov are better. I don't think you can really debate that. Like, I think Dimir is close if you get the right mix, but like,
Jordan.
yeah. Well, I mean, Jordan's deck is like
Well, if
a
you're talking
corner
about,
case.
getting the right mix, that's going to be really hard to do in draft, too. Unless,
Well,
people
but
just pass you the right cards. But if
Well,
you
but I
don't-
mean, then,
don't-
but in draft you can at least focus. I mean, in sealed sealed is only what you open. In draft you have a little bit more control.
a little bit, but if you're going down any mill strategy in Dimir, you're kind of stuck.
Oh, I don't
Wait.
think Mill is necessarily good. I just think like
No,
some
but
of
that's
the,
like half of what Dimir does.
yeah,
But
yeah. So
so it's always safe to go anything with white in draft. And that's probably what everyone will end up doing, and then all the pools are going to suck.
yeah, there's gonna be like 6 white drafters at every table.
Yeah.
But
Some
there's
guys gonna
gonna be
get all
one
the Blood
person
Rush cards.
with Dimir, and they're going to be super excited.
Yeah. There are a lot of cool green cards that I wanted to open that I just didn't see. Like just solid green cards that, as far as like, because I think they pair so well with the Blood Rush, is that like you don't necessarily want Blood Rush cards. Like if you just have all Blood Rush cards in your rule pool, it's not good. Because like you have to have you have to cast some of them as creatures in order to Blood Rush them, But so they're just like some solid guys that you want to get in. Actually, the Krokonura, the 1/3 Reach Evolve guy, he was actually really good for me all day because he does get kind of big out of pretty quickly.
There are a lot of cards that I have not seen at all. Well, I've not pulled at all in the last 3 pre-releases.
hmm
I just have not seen a single Burning Tree emissary.
Yeah, I saw a guy. I played against a guy yesterday too. That card's really good because of the tempo. Like you just play 2/2 drops on turn 2. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'll just play Naya.
Yeah, Naya's very good. I think Naya's very good. Whichever one you splash, probably Boros splashing green, but it's very good. Someone was talking about how yesterday in draft they opened Aurelia's Fury, pack 1, pick 1, and it's so good and limited. I would argue that it's so good, period.
It is.
And then it's even better in limited because limited the card pools are always a little bit weaker. So let's take a quick break here and talk about. Are you just straight Orzhov here?
Yeah, I didn't splash.
Straight Orzhov must be nice. So let's start off with you have another Syndic of Ties, the 2/2 Extort Bear, 1,000 lashes. So let's take a look at this card.
I view it as a stab wound, but
Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and it can't activate its abilities. That's always good. So you can shut. It's basically a face fetters or a rest.
yeah.
And at the beginning of the upkeep, that player loses 1 life. I think this card's fine. Seems very good to me.
Forecast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's not bad at all.
I mean, it's removal in a very removal-light format, and the ability to shut down activated abilities is huge.
You're not going
Somebody
to get
played
rid
it
of
against
enchantments.
one of my extort cards.
Yeah, there's like two cards that get rid of enchantments,
Yeah.
and the one is you can also exile a creature. And so if you're choosing exile enchantment, I think your opponent is like, usually pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
You're playing Swamp. I think it's a strong choice. Strong choice. I know you got a lot of you ran pretty well. You opened a lot of swamps, a lot of plains. It looks like.
Yeah. Different
Kingpin's.
sets, too.
You got a couple copies of Kingpin's Pet.
I got one.
At least one. I think that card's very good. It's a 3-cost 2/2 flyer with Extort.
It's
I mean,
insanely strong.
2/2 flyer by itself is playable just for evasion for 3, but Extort is so good. So that guy's really awesome. You do have the Guild Mage. Of course, it does in standard. It does pair with Exquisite Blood
Yes, it does.
for an infinite life combo. Is it? No, it's
Infinite damage.
Infinite life and damage both, right? You gain infinite life and
You
they
win.
yeah. So it gives target creature lifelink, and then when you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life, so you can get some incremental gain. Very on theme with
Killing there.
Yeah, Killing Glare, very good. It's an X removal spell. You basically just pay the X, which is their power. Very good. It is, in fact, an instant. What? Zarichi Tiger.
I like the cat. In the mirrors for Extort, it really, like, it nullifies your opponent's Extort.
This guy seems dumb, but I think he's fine. Like, he's probably fine, but it's very expensive. 2, 3 for 4, and you pay 2 to gain 2 life. I guess it's fine if you're playing defense. But that's the thing about these Extort decks. Like, you can just have, like, one of the 2/2 flyers, and, like, only attack with that, and then just sit back on your Extort guys and play defense, and you will win the game. Yeah. Like, it's just brutal that way. Also brutal, this guy, because Alex runs good and opens the best card in the format. That, of course, is Obsidian Ghost Council. 5/5 that basically Geralt's Messengers when it comes into play. And then you can choose to blink it every turn, and if you don't choose to blink it every turn, you've made a mistake, I think. I'm trying to think of a scenario in which you don't blink it. Well, if you're blocking, yeah, but I mean, like, if you're attacking with it, you don't...
it and you need to block.
Yeah, you should be winning the game with this thing. You also have Devour Flesh. We saw an interesting play with this card in the playtest game that you and Jordan had, in which he sacked his, 23 Consuming Aberration?
That's what I needed.
And still lost?
Yeah. Still lost.
Yeah, but it was close. But you had, like, 3 cards left in your library. 4. Yeah, it's very close.
I could have taken 1 hit from the no 3 then.
Yeah. So that's very good. Again, you have a lot of removal here, which is very good. You actually have 2 copies of Devour Flesh.
Yeah, I like that.
Another Syndic of Ties, Dutiful Thrall, which is the 1/1 Regenerator, which is fine for defense. There's not a lot of good 1-drops in this set, so you might as well play them. At least that one has relevant ability. You have Shadow Alley Denizen, which is 1/1 that when another black creature comes into play, you can give another creature Intimidate, which is fine if you're set up the race scenario. Slate Street Ruffian. I'm not familiar with this guy.
Oh, yeah. Like, I had some really good cards, and then there was, like, I needed 4
playables.
okay cards.
Okay, so it's a bear for 3. When it becomes blocked, defending player discards a card. Actually,
Nobody ever blocks it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I'm okay with that. And then Executioner's Swing. Do you have a couple copies of this, or just the one?
I think I only pulled 1.
This card is really good. It's a -5/-5. It's a 2-cost Dismember that's qualified because they have to have dealt damage. So sometimes you have to take a hit from it before you can get rid of it, but that's usually perfectly fine.
Like Avenging Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Treasury Thrall, which is in fact the promo card, which has Extort as a 4/4, and it lets you rebuy artifacts, creatures, or enchantments when you attack. Seems pretty good. Very good in Commander. But why are you playing Orzhov in Commander? You made a mistake. You made a mistake. You've got the Bat, the Flying Extort, 1/2 for 2 seems good. Evasion plus Extort seems fine. I mean, having Extort on that basically makes its power too, if you think about it, like, give or take. And there's a card I was talking about before. I think we showed it in your deck, the 1/4 Defender. Basilica Guards.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Oh! Alex, you're a jerk. Godless Shrine.
Stomping ground.
Well, why don't you just rub it in? Know what I got? Garbage. I'm not kidding you. Oh no.
Oh shit.
Did you turn off the computer?
I didn't turn it off.
Oh, okay. Just like auto lock.
Apologize. My screen has a screensaver. That's what happens.
I didn't get any gifts of Orzhova today. It's
okay.
sad.
I'll have to fix this in between rounds or whatever. Something happened there, but I think
you just need to like move your mouse around.
No, it was just screensaver. It just locked out. But
2 Basilica Guards. Oh my god.
So hopefully this comes back. We're showing the stream here. If someone can confirm in the stream that we are, in fact, back live here, we'll refresh this. I got too excited. Usually I don't have that long of a period of inactivity. Yeah, okay, we're fine. For some reason the graphics have gone walkabout, but just like it.
I assume you're gonna go 5-0. With this pool.
It's possible. I got first place last time.
The only way you can not go 5-0 is if you get mana screwed.
That happened to be first game, both games actually, but
that happened to me first game today.
Well, not mana screwed, flooded, but like I have too many cards that are just inevitable.
Apparently I was playing mono white first game today.
Yeah, that's
that game?
Obsidian. I know someone snap bought one at 17, and I saw a couple at 20 shipped that wasn't selling.
Just waiting to get confirmation here. I think we are back live, but
You gotta refresh again.
maybe, I don't know. I don't know. What happened is that I was so busy showing people these cards of yours, Alec, that I forgot to
Do anything.
yeah, my computer screensaver went on, and for whatever reason, that interacts horribly with things. So you've actually got 3. We'll go right back into it and pretend like nothing happened. You got 3 copies of Basilica Guards,
Yeah.
which is pretty good.
I have 8 total Extort cards.
How many Angelic Edicts do you have?
1.
One Angelic Edict, which is the Exile something, and you've got a Court Street Denizen, which is fine. It taps something down. Yeah, you have Holy Mantle, which is pretty good. They've been pretty good in recent sets of making these creature enchantments that are playable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the old days where they're all garbage because you just get 2 for 1. This one gives +2/+2 and protection from creatures. Very relevant and limited.
Well, MLTO have been saying that that's been winning the games.
The Holy Mantle? I agree.
Pretty good.
I would think so. And then finally you have the Anthem as well, the +2/+2, which is fine. Probably one of the weaker cards in your deck, but it is definitely playable. So,
That's it with all your 1/4 defenders.
Of course. Like I said,
we lost 40. So we lost 40 in the, because it went down, we always lose 40. Which is very frustrating to me because, like, the weeks where I have, like, nothing happens, we end up having, like, marginal attendance or viewership. But the weeks when, like, we get up to, like, 140 and, like, or 150 in, like, round 2, then, like, something happens and I lose half of them, we never get them back. I would love to see what the numbers are one week when I just start and just, like, keep on going the whole time. So I apologize for that. We did have technical difficulty, but that one was very easy to fix. That one will not happen again, I guarantee. You might say, but Zach, why don't you just turn off your screensaver? Well, I can't because this is my company laptop, and they won't allow you to turn off the screensaver. So that happens. Yeah, don't tell them. Actually, I don't think they would care. But anyway, we were waiting here. This is one of the problems with pre-release. It's a very minor problem, and it's a good problem to have. But when you have a lot of players who are not used to playing that often, a lot of casual guys, you end up having a lot of very lengthy matches, which end up having a lot of dead time. So we will try to get as many games as we can under the camera as logistics allow. But another problem with casual players is that they don't really want to play on camera.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I mean, it's everyone's obligation. Not like we force people to play under camera, but...
I actually don't see why, but...
Well, I understand why perfectly. It's because people don't want everybody second-guessing them. Trust me, I sit in here every week and watch this chat, and like, God forbid somebody makes a play that's like even remotely questionable, not even wrong or bad, just like debatable, like, because then the chat's just like, oh, this.
Well, I do that all the time, and people in the chat can just deal with it.
I don't know. The reason I don't play on camera is because I don't play any of these formats. Well, I did play yesterday. It was fun.
I thought you were gonna play yesterday. Well,
I did play yesterday.
but it wouldn't be on camera because you're the one.
Yes, it wouldn't be on camera because I would just like, everyone who plans to play me is on the camera, just play the entire event on the camera, and then just be annoying. Actually, it was a lot of fun yesterday. One of the things that's cool, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, and again, we will have the next round up shortly as we are waiting for pairings, but here's what I like about pre-releases. Number one, it's a full day kind of thing. Unlike F&M. F&M starts at like 6. You're done at like midnight or whatever. Yeah. So you get like your maximum amount of time to like hang out and play. You get to see a lot of people that don't normally come. People will come in. They'll make a little bit of a trip for a pre-release event. A lot of people who don't play Magic at F&M because they don't have the time, they'll show up for the pre-release. So you get to see a lot of people you don't normally see or you haven't seen in a while. Also, the trading is very good because people rock up with binders that don't ever come out of the closet, and then you get cards that are tough to find. Like yesterday, I needed like a Through the Breach for Legacy, and then like some guy just rocked up with just like a bunch of like random EDH cards, and then like one Through the Breach, and I was like, all right, I'll trade him for that, and you get stuff like that. Of course, everybody, and it's also like a feeding frenzy with all the new cards. Like everybody and their mothers, just like. I think basically everyone yesterday should have just had a shirt on or a sign up that says, do you have breeding pools? Because that's what everybody was looking for. You actually opened one, didn't you? You're like the most popular guy in the entire store. Everybody wanted your breeding pool. I opened complete garbage, so nobody wanted my crap. I did open no, I was going to tell you, I opened, we played 6 rounds. Thanks, JB. Played 6 rounds, and I won 3 packs. And of those 9 packs, I opened 5 Primordials.
Ouch.
2 blue ones, a black one, a green one, and a green foil one. The green one went right into my EDH deck, and then immediately was broken. That card is retarded. Do you guys know where you're playing here?
No,
He's playing Jordan.
Am I playing Jordan?
You're playing Jordan at table 1, and Yen, you're actually not the only hyphenated name this week. You're playing the other hyphenated name, Rowan Chad Simpson, which is Chad. Table 9.
Table 9.
Table 9.
I'm scared.
Alright, so y'all go out there and pair up, and we will try to go find you another feature match, so stay tuned. We'll be right back shortly with the aforementioned feature match.